Yo, 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 if you're here, you probably already know what's going on. We're watching Mikel Brown Jr. film. I've seen stuff here and there. I watched the McDaig and things like that, but I haven't really sat down and watched Mikel Brown Jr. film. So we're going to do that. He's playing next season at Louisville. 5-star guard, thought of by many draft experts to be the top point guard prospect in this class. So let's do it. Let's watch it. He is going to be number 0 in white right here. Just got the ball. Believe he's around 6'2", 6'3", pretty shifty. To my knowledge, uses a bit of everything in terms of his handling, speed, burst, pace, acceleration, craft, things of that nature. And then, per the numbers, per the eye test, he appears to be one of the better shooters in this entire class. Get a good look right there. Coming off the DHO here. Sets both feet, squares away. Smooth motion. Not the fastest thing we've ever seen, but no real qualms with the shot. I mean, if he shoots the ball from beyond the arc 9 times per game and shoots 38%, then I'm not going to argue that regardless. So, seems to be a pretty good shooting prospect. I think things to look out for when the numbers are that good are simply shot selection. Are the shots he's taking actually good shots? Are they actually going to contribute to winning basketball, or is he taking them for the sake of taking them? Which in high school level, you're not going to figure out. We're not going to figure that out in this, certainly, but just next season at Louisville, things to watch for. And then outside of that, it's really just shot versatility. Are those spot up? Is he self-creating these looks? Is he doing it from NBA range? Is he doing it from high school range? Good look at the mechanics there. You know, he is kind of that smaller guard stature, so putting a little more into it than your bigger forwards. The forwards we've watched so far, I'm happy to finally jump into some guard film. Especially with Mikel being a point guard, we're going to watch a little bit more passing today. You know, I think scoring highlights for a guard at the preps level are one thing, but seeing kind of his offensive process and things like that will be a little more helpful for scouting Mikel to this point and what he can offer the Cardinals. Pretty controlled drive there. I mean, goes with the simple crossover. Gets by his defender and has the wherewithal to finish through contact over another. Finishing seems like it's going to be a big indicator for Mikel Brown. Based on what I've seen, the synergy numbers, some of his other preps play stuff, seems like he has the ability to get downhill, but that the finishing numbers aren't always there. And especially if he's going to be such a threat from beyond the arc, he's going to have to parlay that into downhill attack, a little more downhill creation, so that seems to be what most are looking for, at least offensively right now with Brown. Another pretty good look at the mechanics. Ball swinging around. I don't know how you leave a 5-star top 5 prospect in the class this wide open, but here we are. He looks pretty big here. I know this is obviously high school play. We're watching DME Academy, but we'll be super interested to see how he holds up physically at the next level. Especially, I mean, I've fallen for a few of these kind of more slender guards in recent years. Have not left the Rob Dillingham hype train. Really think he's going to be fine. You know, Keontae George got me. Still a Keontae George fan. Obviously hasn't panned out totally in Utah, but I would say Mikel's definitely of that mold in terms of physically not imposing, but could have the combination of kind of speedy tools to get it done. So really like this play. I feel like this shows a lot of coordination. Cuts off ball. Almost to this kind of dunker spot area, but I mean, just stops on a dime into a high rising jumper. Really, really smooth play throughout. That's cool stuff. Jeremiah Fears, another one of those kind of more slender guards. Reminds me a little bit of Mikel. It's another nice move. Great floater. That'd be such a weapon for him as it is for any other kind of smaller stature guards as he cuts down the lane, especially if his finishing numbers aren't great. Having a floater in the bag would just be stellar. Bang. This reminds me of watching Trae Young in an Edmond North gym circa 2017. He needed about this much space to pull up three. I think he had like 44 points in that game. I was a freshman in college. Had to go see Trae Young hoop in person. It was mostly this. It was about 2 hours of this, and most of the shots went in. Yeah, I mean, again, doesn't need much space to fire it off. Obviously comfortable shooting. This is great. This is what gets me really, really excited for a player like this. This is great court navigation. Now, these defenders aren't obviously the best. This is a pretty slow-footed big as far as high school goes. But, I mean, that's a pretty advanced dribble move into a very clean jumper. What will hopefully be a pretty high percentage look for him. So, yeah, this play's super exciting. Keeping it in the left, too. Didn't need the full crossover. Hezzy. Bang. DME up 8. 2 minutes left. Let's see if we can get a game icer. Again, no hesitation. Look how little space needed here. I mean, even just on the DHO space where this screener / passer still moving. I mean, he just immediately fires. His heel's nearly on the sideline here. I'll be curious to see if he has the green light at Louisville. You know, I know that he's going to have a big role there. I would imagine he's their starting point guard. I believe they lost their 3 leading scorers. Chucky Hepburn, Terrence Edwards. I forget the other one, but he signed to the NBL. So Mikel's going to have the rock, and he's going to have opportunities to score. I'll be curious if head coach over there, I believe it's Kelsey, is letting things like this fly. Yeah, again, another really, really comfortable shot. Coming off screen here. Does not need much time to fire it off. Can feel a couple defenders closing in. Didn't really shake his confidence in this shot. Nice to see. The good news about his driving and his handling and all these other things that NBA decision makers will be looking at is that if the three-point shooting is this good, like if he really is going to shoot 36% plus on 7+ attempts per game at the college level, which some people expect when you watch plays like this, you can't expect, it's going to make everything else so much easier. I mean, he's going to, and if he can parlay it into the kind of those hesitation dribble moves, all these different types of screens, DHOs, elevator screens, all these different things, it's just going to make his life so much easier. He's not going to need to be the most prolific driver at rim finisher if he's able to make this with consistency. It's a good play, good finish through contact, but I think this shows a little bit of the concerns with the handle and maybe the shiftiness not being up to like a Dillingham level. Like I think a guy like that or even Fears at times can like really teleport, like super quick, agile guys that can on a dime change directions. I mean, Darren Peterson, despite being more of a combo guard, shooting guard, is gonna be in that category with his kind of herky-jerkiness, but here he gets kind of walled up, even on the directional changes. Again, eventually finishes this play, but we'll especially be curious at the college level to see how he fares against like really, really elite defenders in this regard. Obviously, he's probably not going to be in isolation too much, either at college or the pro level, but certainly not a bad thing to have in your back pocket if you're a ball-dominant lead guard. And I like the footwork on this is nice. Honestly, the defender just does a phenomenal job. I mean, he's head faking, grappling for position, switching hands here. Like, it's good moves. Just great defense and a perfect shot. Grabs the board. Looking ahead in transition. Cameraman's got us. A little shaky. We're fine. This one's going up. Yep. Bang. It's a James Harden gather move. Step back three-pointer. I mean, for all... not even all the negatives, but for any negatives we've seen, they're overshadowed by stuff like this. This is wild, wild work for a high school point guard. Probably going to be a big part of his game at Louisville here, working in the pick and roll. Gets a ton of space on this screen because the big doesn't come out to help. I guess he tries to take a couple steps. Even that is a little too much. Recognizes he's got the open lay. This is a nice play. Real nice play. We'll be curious to see how he fares in the pick and roll. Going to be such a huge part of just the game in general moving forward for a point guard. So he's got a lot of control with kind of these same hand dribble in and outs. Stuff that can just kind of freeze defenders. He's not working with like unbelievable dribble moves, but I mean, he's got enough in the bag to get some deer in the headlight bigs, things like that. And then really nice acceleration there too, right after. A couple quick steps and up. Put himself in great position on the hip there to go get the layup. It's nice. Nice work. Okay, not our best film here, but looks like he's playing the Boozer twins, which is exciting. About to receive the ball if you didn't know which pixels he was. Great move. Just to find an inkling of space. Jab step, pump fake. One dribble pull up, floating left. Expert level stuff. Yeah, he's got fun moves. I mean, again, there's not really one area you can point to outside of his shooting that you're saying, oh, he's an absolute star at the collegiate or pro level, but certainly a deep enough bag that if the shooting's there, he'll be just fine. And then there's a ton of other areas, I mean, that you would like to see in terms of passing, playmaking, defense, things like that. But in terms of just the scoring versatility, pretty solid. He's drawn a lot of fouls. I know it's high school and they're wanting to stop the big-time college prospect from scoring, but he has drawn quite a few fouls. Okay, working on Cameron Boozer here. What you got, Mikel? Step back three. Could have called that one. Runs through the Rolodex here of fakes right, fakes left, fakes back right, jab step backwards. Long range three-pointer with a hand in the face. We'll watch a few more, then I want to jump over to passing, seeing as he'll play point guard next year for Louisville. I think his passing and playmaking at least is one of the major things I'll be looking at. I would imagine he is a double-digit scorer, probably low 40 field goal efficiency, probably high 30 three-point efficiency on great volume. Feel like I can pretty confidently say those things are going to happen. More so worried about defensive impact. Really, really hard for lean guards to make a huge impact at the collegiate level and especially in the NBA, as we've seen in recent years. But also just his passing and playmaking is going to be so big. Based on the highlights too, I'll be curious to see what his ratio to shooting versus driving is, because in these, he is shooting a lot. Good shot there. Gets the switch. Little chicken wing jumper there. Doesn't need much space to knock it down. Really tantalizing skills in the mid-range. Seems to be fully comfortable there. That's a great thing. Again, another thing that could contribute to better at-rim finishing if they think he's a threat to pull up at any given moment. It can help. Last one. Getting out in transition. Psych, plays too long. Not in transition. Officially a half-court set. Gets the ball top of the key. Gets the screen. Gets the switch again. Clears out. ISO. Jab step left. Tray ball. Didn't even see the defender here. You can just see the muscle memory kick in of the second his feet come off this jab. They are set to shoot. Body gets right into it. Good stuff. Bang. We're actually not even going to watch defense here. On the clips that I'm watching, he's got 7 steals and 1 block, so probably not a lot to work with. Easy pass here. Breaks down that first level. Feels that double. Easy drive and kick situation. Probably going to have a lot of these based on his 3-point gravity. You can physically see him recognize that this defender is not in position to guard this 3 ball. Good look. Good reading of the floor. Steal and an oddly accurate pass. I don't know. That was maybe a little lucky it ended up where it did. Right there. Great grab and finish from him, but good steal. And then I always like whether this worked out or not. I like looking ahead in transition. Another one, and this one certainly on the money. Exactly where he wanted it. Maybe the last one wasn't a fluke. Maybe he's got some accuracy. A little more transition work here. There wasn't a ton of transition play in his scoring highlights here. Passing, we've now seen 3 transition in a row. Love a point guard who gets up and goes. Again, it's only been 3 plays. Not sure if that is the case for Mikel Brown Jr., but what a luxury to have a guy who pushes the pace. Good find. The easy find, but a good find. Immediately recognizes this double. Had 2 options here. This defender is not doing a dadgum thing, but gets the easy bucket. Nice pass. Another transition look. Wow. Great pass. A lot of touch on that one. Kind of a baseball throw right down the lane. Splits a couple defenders right over another one. Great pass. I've liked what I've seen for sure. Don't know if I was anticipating this type of passer. I think I was feeling more simple driving kicks and maybe a little more pick and roll action based on the scoring highlights, but yeah, looks to be solid so far. Again, a lot of touch there. He threw that from toe on the 3-point line for the lob, right over the defender. Great spot. Another good transition look. Again with the kind of football overhead throw. Finds a shooter in transition. Puts it on the money. We'll do a few more here. Again, would love to see some half-court sets, but not going to be upset with any transition play. Oh my gosh, draped all over. 3 defenders. Look at the way they're guarding him. He had options here, finds the easy one. $10-point game, minute left. Ooh, great find. Weak side dunker spot. Draws this big's attention. Knows it's there. Easy points. We'll do last one. Little half-court action. Has the same defender matchup that he's liked all day. Gets it in the left. Easy driving kick to the corner shooter. Again, stuff that's probably going to be open all day long at Louisville, based on him being able to step up and shoot this shot, drive to the basket. Good stuff. Okay, that's it. Mikel Brown Jr. I'm going to have more of these coming out. I'd like to watch quite a few more prospects in the next few weeks, especially before the season starts. Let me know who you want me to watch. You know, there's Tunde Yesufu, Koa Pete, Nate Ament, Jaden Quaintance. We could watch a little college film. Anybody. So drop some names. Let me know who you want me to see, and we'll see you next time.